And of course, everyone realizes how big of a sport wrestling is in the state of Iowa. So with that in mind, it is time for the Grappler Report. Tony Hager joining us. He is from IA Wrestling and Takedown Wrestling. Of course, everybody familiar with that. You guys are worldwide with Takedowns.
Yeah, Takedowns, it is worldwide. Well, really known for here in the nation, but we are shown, our television show is shown worldwide. 52 countries now.
And
that's amazing.
Places like Iran.
Yeah, Iran, there's just so many different countries. Iran is huge in wrestling. They're known for their international freestyle style. So a little different than folk style here in the state, but that's what they're known for.
Because wrestling is a popular sport, obviously here in Iowa, huge, but you don't always hear about it, especially on local television like this. People don't always cover wrestling unless you're getting to the big championships later on.
Yeah,
in the
people
year.
seem to only cover it when the state tournament comes around, but I mean, this is what our state is known for me anyways. I mean, we've got corn and wrestling for me.
Corn, pigs, and wrestling, the three staples of the state of Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, there was 45,000 people came out to a wrestling meet at Kinnick Stadium just a couple weeks ago.
Was that awesome or what?
That was so cool.
I mean, that was just great for our sport and for people outside of the wrestling world to realize, you know, the marketability for our sport. So that was great to see.
All right, we need to get some stats on you to show us why you are the right person to come talk about this. So give us a little history about you and wrestling.
Well, I grew up in Ogden, Iowa, rich tradition, and wrestled from kindergarten all through high school.
Wow.
Brian Reimers.
Kindergarten?
Yeah,
you wrestled in kindergarten?
Kindergarten. I've been wrestling a long time.
That's how you know a state loves wrestling, is when it's kindergartners wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, my parents got me started, but I was in all different types of sports. So wrestling just seemed to be where I was the most successful. Obviously, I'm a little smaller guy, so in wrestling, it gives those guys the opportunities to, you know, really be successful. So went from Ogden, then went to Simpson College, wrestled in college, and you know, wasn't so successful at that level, but it gained my passion for how hard this sport is, and now I'm covering every day of my life.
Oh, it's a brutal sport, and it's one of the few remaining where you don't have to be 6'3" to do it. You know, I mean, everything nowadays is all 6'3", 6'4" guys. Tennis, I mean, everything, you know, and this is a sport that a smaller guy can get active in.
Well, high school weights are 106 to 285, so you get just all, you know, football players, and you get real small cross-country runners, so it's just anybody can participate, I think, in the sport of wrestling.
Can you give us your description of why we're so passionate about this sport, not across the world, but also here in Iowa?
I think it's because it's just a lot of farm boys grow up with hard work, and their dads maybe and their moms get them out for wrestling, and it's the sport is one-on-one. So if you win the match, it's all you. You don't have the quarterback to blame or the wide receiver for dropping a pass or the kicker. It's all you. So you have no one else to blame. And that's why anybody that's wrestled knows how hard it is to go to wrestling practice every day and win that match.
And you know, these farm boys do work hard, so they're stronger than your average bear.
Yeah.
So that plays in their hand.
Yeah, and we don't really see a whole lot anymore, but you know, probably 10 years ago, you get the farm boys that are throwing the hay up on the rack. Those are the farm boys that you hear about. That's what got them into it,
though. That's what got them into it, and that's what propels the sport now.
Yep, hard work.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the action we have around here. For example, the 3A.
Yeah, 3A is an interesting type of rankings here. In our rankings, we've got Southeast Polk second. They've been known to be.
See, that's surprising. When you showed the sheet here a couple seconds ago, I even made a comment about that because I was expecting them to see them at the top of the list.
You know, last year they came in actually preseason at second too, I believe, but Fort Dodge really came onto the scene last year at the state tournament. They you know, had a state champ, Brody Teskey, at 106, and they have just a really well-balanced lineup that they're a heavy favorite, actually. And Valley here in West Des Moines, they're I think actually should be ranked second. So we'll see. In our first set of rankings at iawrestle.com, we don't rank any freshmen, so we make them earn it. And also it doesn't put a bullseye on them. So these rankings will shake up a little bit, but after seeing Fort Dodge and Southeast Polk wrestle, I think it's Fort Dodge's to lose, and Southeast Polk needs to find a couple horses that can take them to back-to-back state titles.
Now, for people who don't know, how many classes do we have here in Iowa?
So we have a 3A, 2A, and 1A. And 1A is the biggest, all the small towns in Iowa, and it is extremely difficult to rank those type of teams because there's so many of them.
Right.
So yeah, 3 classes. 3A is definitely probably the power, your power class. You know, 1A ranked team in 3A going up against a 1A ranked team in 1A. It's just it's hard to get a whole lineup that can compete at that level.
Sure.
And how far are we into the quote-unquote wrestling season?
So
right
last
now?
week was the first week of actual duels that we saw. Around the Metro here in the CIML, Yankee Centennial defeated Ames last week, 35-24. That was a pretty close duel.
Now, how is Ames in general when it comes to wrestling with Iowa State there?
Traditionally they haven't been, in the top 10 for a while. It really has been Southeast Polk
dominating
as far as in the CIML. Waukee, now Johnson came into the state tournament last year, ranked 3rd. They actually put on a pretty good battle against Southeast Polk last Thursday. They had a couple upsets there, but it's really. It seems like the farther you go out from the Des Moines Metro, the better teams you see. So Waukee's kind of coming onto the scene. Johnston, Southeast Polk, and the inner city schools are really. I think they're struggling to get the kids just out. I mean, Dowling Catholic, they have 13 kids out for their junior high wrestling program, and that's a problem that we need to try to fix because the inner city schools need to have that participation.
How many times do these guys wrestle every week?
Duel-wise, I would say they probably get, they can get anywhere from 4 to 6 matches, depending if they have, like at the 1A level, they will have 3 duels a night, or 2 duels a night. They will wrestle, 3 teams will come in, they'll wrestle each other, kind of a 3-man round robin. And then on the weekend, depending on how far they can go, they can, there's 3 rounds to win a tournament on the weekend.
So wrestlers have to prepare for, what do you say, 2 times a week?
2 times a week, and it's kind of interesting. There'll be a duel on Thursday and a tournament Saturday. And a lot of these guys are trying to make weight.
Right.
So they got to make weight Thursday, and then they only got 1 practice to go till their next tournament. So that's also part of how grueling this sport is throughout the season. I mean, it's a long.
Let's take a look at some of the local teams that were in action.
Really, we talked about Southeast Polk, Johnston, going down south here a little bit to Creston. They're the #1 ranked wrestling team.
Let's look at 2A ratings here.
2A Creston, really, they've got 5 ranked wrestlers in our preseason ranking, and I think they had a tournament last week, and they just really dominated that. So, you get down there as far as around Des Moines area. I think that's going to be the.
Can I ask a real dumb question? What are the numbers next to the names?
So the numbers to the name are how many wrestlers we actually have ranked, and every single weight, so 1 through 8, you get a specific total for that ranking. That's how we come up with the team. Because you see Davenport Assumption has 8 ranked wrestlers, but they're 5th, and then you have Crescent at 5. So they might have like 3 ranked #1 wrestlers, but Davenport Assumption might have 5 number 6, and so those aren't worth as many points as far as rankings go.
Are there other teams you're keeping an eye on besides Creston?
I would say at the 2A level, Clarion Goldfield, they've got a couple horses in their stable that will probably be state champions. Glenwood's always somebody to look out for, but I think that's a 1-team race as of right now that I could see.
And you mentioned that the 1A schools are plentiful.
1A is just, there's so much parity in 1A wrestling. Last week on Thursday, Lisbon actually went into Alburnett and they upset the #1 ranked wrestling team. So
Lisbon has been good for 30+ years. Yeah.
And they've got the top senior in our pound-for-pound rankings, Carter Happel. He's a 3-time state champion. He's going for his quest to be the 25th Iowan to win 4 state titles. That's 25 kids. I mean, right now there's 24, but he could be the 25th. So that just goes to show you.
He's from Lisbon.
He's from Lisbon, Iowa.
Yeah, those guys are bad.
Yeah. He's committed to wrestle at Iowa. So he's probably
that's
the
right
top
up the road.
prize.
Might as well, yeah.
He's the top prize for in the state of Iowa this year. That's for sure.
Nice.
So.
All right, so there we have. There's our first installment. Tony, well done. Appreciate it. Now, if people want to follow along more wrestling-wise, where do you suggest?
Yep, they can follow us on Twitter at IAWrestle or at TakedownWrestle for that national feel. IAWrestle.com or TakedownWrestle.com. You can follow me at Hager Tony. I'm always just jumping around all over statewide, nationwide with with little nuggets of what's going on in wrestling.
Wonderful. Good job, my friend.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Next time, I think I need a coffee mug.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
How many you want? We can hook you up.
Hang on a second. There you go. Is that quick enough for you? There you go. Brand new coffee mug for you. You're good to go.
We're not saying the coffee's good, by the way. But